It is Lily Philly Pony Hair, and welcome back to um and welcome back to the Frost Cup / Hijack Corpse Bride AU. If you are new here, I want you to watch I recommend you watch part 1 before you watch this one because you'll understand it much better. So, basically this is a Corpse Bride AU. It goes by 3 perspectives, points of views. It goes by it's a normal point of view, Hiccup's point of view, and Jack's point of view. So basically, we go normal point of view, Hiccup's point of view, and then Jack's point of view. I don't know how the structure works. I don't know how the story is going to be continuing. I just hope it's a good story. This is a blind reading, and wanna tell you, welcome to part 2 of this fan fiction. Hope you enjoy this reading. A/N, just to let you know. Words, Jack singing. Words, everyone else singing. Okay. We are going to Hiccup's point of view. Okay, I guess it doesn't go by section. Because it doesn't go by structure. My sobbing was slowly but surely dying down. Removing my hands from my head, and I placed them on the ground to try to control my breathing. Instantly, a freezing sensation began to creep up my hand. Glancing down, I saw that it was ice. I was trapped. I tried so hard to break my hands out of their icy prison, but they wouldn't budge. I swear I can hear laughing, but it is nearly impossible to locate where it's coming from. I suddenly saw snow appear from thin air, swirling around right in front of me. The snow began to cluster and start to make a shape. The snow was moving rapidly, and I now saw it. It was the shape of a boy. Sorry. As the boy's details emerged from the snow, a surge of adrenaline, I don't know how to say that, rushed through me. I needed to get away. This is certainly not normal. Not in the least. We are now going to Jack's point of view. As I'm materializing in front of the redhead, he began to freak out. I couldn't help but laugh at his reaction. I could at least see his eyes. They were a perfect green. To my surprise, he managed to free himself and began to scuttle away. Oh, want to play hard to get? I chuckled. I'm more happy to oblige. Bring it. This boy was going to be more fun than I first thought. Hiccup's point of view. Back to Hiccup's. I scrambled onto my feet as fast as I could. I was already tired since I hadn't had the chance to regain my energy, all I could think about was who, what, where, why. I risked looking back to see a figure of the figure of the boy fast approaching. He was cloaked. It's either cloaked or cloaked in darkness, so I couldn't see clearly. In fact, I barely saw anything about him except his outlines. Stumbling up the hill, I lost my footing and collided face first into a tree. Oh, for Thor's sake, I yelped, feeling more disoriented than before. And even dazzled. I covered my one eye. My vision was blurry at first, but when it cleared up, I saw the boy was even closer than before. I gulped and began to run again. Dashing through the trees, I continually tripped and tumbled over the tree roots. The more ducking and weaving I did, the more I grew more tired. I remembered my father telling me that the spirits couldn't cross running water. Wait, maybe that was witches or vampires. Perhaps the Headless Horseman. Who cares? It's worth a try. I'm sorry, I just needed a laugh moment. Okay, where was I? Also, I am pretty desperate right now. I reached a frozen lake and nearly slipped countless times. My body was ordering me to run faster, and I obeyed. Making it into a bridge which connected to the town to the woods, not caring about what anyone said when I get back. I paused for a moment to breathe. I did it. I'm safe. I deemed it safe to continue home, but the second I turned around, there he was, right in my face. We are now going to normal point of view. But before I read it, I'm gonna go count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 18 more pages. Okay, I'm now gonna read. Back to reading. Hiccup jumped as he came face to face with Jack. Jack was delighted to have won the chase, but better still, Hiccup couldn't get away this time. He showed Hiccup his famous carefree smile. His smile disappeared as he saw that the other boy was hyperventilating. Jack moved forward as Hiccup stepped backwards, trapping him between himself and the wall of the bridge. He saw that Hiccup was fighting to keep his eyes open. The red-haired boy had fear written all over his freckled face. He gently cupped Hiccup's face and whispered, "Don't be scared. We will have some fun instead." He softly kissed Hiccup on the forehead as he collapsed into the guardian's awaiting arms. Okay, scene change! Apparently there's gonna be a scene change here in the story. Sorry, I'm going back to reading. I'm sorry. Hiccup felt a cold hand stroking his face as he slowly came to his senses. His head was still spinning as his eyes began to open, only to come face to face, or rather eye to eye, with startling blue ones. As he vision cleared, he could see the boy of his age with a worried look and on his extremely pale skin. So pale he looked like a ghost. His hair was the color of pure snow. A black bowler hat was perched on his head. His shirt matched his eyes, which he wore with a black waistcoat and black trousers. Hiccup thought that he must be dreaming, for behind the boy he saw a skeleton with a huge mustache and with a huge mustache smoking a pipe. Yeah. Also some other people who looked like blue corpses. He heard some particular music that he had never heard before playing somewhere in the room. From what he could tell, he was in a pub. See the pub? He was lying on his back on the hard floor. "Look, a new arrival," said the skeleton to Mark. "He must have fainted," another pointed out. The boy moved his hand under Hiccup's neck to support his reeling head. "Are you all right?" he inquired. With the other hand, he moved a few strands of Hiccup's hair from his face. Hiccup was extremely disoriented and confused. What happened?" Hiccup asked, his eyes darting around, trying to determine where he was and why. "Bedrovmana!" exclaimed the skeleton, grabbing Hiccup's wrist and tightly and nearly knocking the boy out of the way. Looks like we got ourselves a breather." Hiccup's eyes grew wider as his brain started to wake up. A fat blue woman in the chef's uniform pushed him out of the way and shoving her face into Hiccup's terrified one. "Ooh," she started as she inspected his face. Does he have a dead brother?" Hiccup crawled away on his elbows until his back was up against the wall. He saw The room was filled with these people, some blue skin, some skeletons. Many of them had horrible wounds on them, or weapons impaled to them. "Oh, Thor Almighty!" he yelled. He yelled in his head. What was this, hell? I don't know. A toast! Boomed another skeleton in front from behind him, making poor Hiccup jump out of his skin. To Jack's new friend. Before Hiccup could ask who Jack was, the boy grabbed his hand and pulled him onto his feet. He immediately lost his balance and fell onto the boy. The boy laughed at Hiccup. Then he remembered what happened. The arranged marriage, Astrid, the woods, and the figure chasing him. No way, it can't be real. However, the boy confirmed his fears. "You had me worried at the bridge. Good thing you're okay now." He reached out for Hiccup, but Hiccup nearly passed out again. Instead of his head against the pub counter, he hits his head against the pub counter, yelling, "Wake up!" constantly. A girl with very pale blue skin and unbelievably long blonde hair hit him over the head with a frying pan, making poor Hiccup even dizzier. 5 years old? She then grabbed... I'm spinning all over my... She then grabbed him when he was off guard. Calm down, or do I need to knock you out?" Before he could reply, another girl appeared and pulled him next to her. Hiccup began to feel like a rag doll. This girl also had pale blue skin, but also really long, really curly ginger hair. "Oh, Rapunzel, don't hurt the wee lamb," she said to the blonde in a thick Scottish accent. I totally did that right. She then held his chin between her thumb and his an index finger. He's awfully cute tie. You got good taste, Jack." Hiccup followed the Scots gaze to see that she was looking at the boy. So that was Jack? But why had he kidnapped him? Maybe because he knew that no one would care if he went missing. In fact, they might even thank Jack for killing him and putting the village out of its misery. Hiccup broke out of the ginger's hold, and he began to Hiccup broke out of Ginger's hold. He began to freak out. He pointed to Jack. "I need questions!" he yelled. He felt someone tapping on his shoulder. It was the Scot. "I think you mean answers, lad," Hiccup blushed at his mess up. Yes, that's right. Answers! What's going on? Where am I? Who are you? He demanded. The boy looked stunned for a second, then smirked. I thought you've never asked. He gestured to the dwarf-sized skeleton. Hit it! A weird music filled the room and spotted everyone's eyes where on the boy as he jumped onto the stage. Without warning, the girls dragged Hiccup onto the stage as well. Great. That's a great way to smooth the night. Holding his arms so that he couldn't run away. I guess there's singing here. Okay. Well, I see right here there's a fresh little face, pink and living, with freckles all over the place. You may ask, why am I here? I sure ain't dead. Rest assured, Twinkle Toes, that there's nothing to dread. The two girls started to singing that Hiccup assumed was the criers. As he drifted away. He's cool with it now, and he's ready to play. He fell through the cracks, there was nowhere to run. And now she's sticking with us as the guardian of fun. Yeah. This time the boy turned straight to Hiccup and sang this right to him, not to the audience. Hiccup felt that he was serenading, so they called me Jack Frost. But for you I'll be Jack. When you are down on your luck, you know if I got your back. You perked up those ears, then I'll warble a tune. Hiccup felt his legs give away. Thankfully, the girls were still holding his arms so he wouldn't fall. Whoa! Watch it there, pal. There's no reason to swoon. These pipes might be dusty, but they're still right on key. Give me all your attention. Turn those green eyes to me. As he drifted away. He's cool with it now, and he's ready to play. He fell through the cracks, there's nowhere to run. Now he's sticking with us as the guardian of fun. Yeah. Jack turned to Hiccup again, smiling as he saw the boy blush. Now you, my name, may I know yours? He smiled flirtatiously, making the blush even deeper. Hiccup? He stuttered. He gave Hiccup one more grin before continuing the song and turning away from Hiccup in the process. my 17th winter, taught my sister to skate. She couldn't wait one more minute to test out new blades. We were down at the pond on the outskirts of town. Telltale crunched underfoot, no one else was around. She glanced down at her boots and then back up to me. There was no other choice but for her to believe. Flicked on my crook, caught her waist, flung her to safety. Then I realized there was no ground under me. Barely I had any time to relieve, and then I lay still, and then beneath the surface was a hand, and then my frigid breath was gushed out, and then, kiddo, everything was pitched black. When I opened my eyes, my hair was snow white. I walked on bare feet into pale moonlight. Looked up at the sky blinking owlishly. Didn't seem out of place with my skin all chilly. So I spent a couple of 100 years riding with the wind, till the man in the moon chose a new guardian. So I went on a quest, found my lost memories, kicked some ass, took some names, Jacques Droste. The girls began to dance, allowing Hiccup to escape. As he drifted away. He's cool with it now, and he's ready to play. He fell through the cracks, there was nowhere to run. Now he's sticking with us as the guardian of the fun. Yeah. Jack turned to Hiccup with his smug grin still in place. However, the space in between Merida and Rapunzel was empty. His grin fell from his face. Oh, Hiccup. Oh my God! So throughout that whole thing, I had to sing. That was... I had to get my singing voice on. I did not know that. Or otherwise, I think it was at the beginning. At the beginning, maybe? Let me look. Let me just look. Okay, so there was just like things that tell that Jack was singing, and then those things that tell that everyone else singing. I just sang the whole thing because I have nobody else to sing with. So I hope that you really like this story so far. This was part 2 of The Corpse Bride AU, and I'll see you all next time.